Pistons.
Good get, Brian. That's it. Brian's our booker, at least for now, at least for this week. He came down with whooping call.
I think he gave it to someone around here. Welcome back to First Things First. Undisputed coming up at 9:30. Jenny Taft, look at all kinds of happy Halloween.
Wow.
We got
What
some
about
This is from Craig in studio. He got me this. Happy Halloween.
So, Witch's Brew. Happy Halloween, Jenny.
Talk to us about
Witch's Brew. So much to get to today. Good morning, guys. Coming up on Undisputed, are the Eagles the team to beat in the NFC after their big trade yesterday? And why did Tom Brady say he's inspired by Aaron Rodgers? That should be fun. Plus, boxing legend Sugar Ray Leonard is in studio with us. Undisputed is next. I will not be drinking this, but it does look cool.
Try.
See you guys.
We got good-looking witches at FS1.
Oh, that's what you were trying to Jenny, thank you. We look forward to it. Time for us to go viral.
Witches bring stitches.
Twitter users have noticed a resemblance between Orlando Magic forward Aaron Gordon and Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge. So Aaron Gordon is all in on the joke, so much so that he dressed up as Judge for Halloween.
Oh, that's good.
On Instagram, Judge commented on the pic and said he loved it.
Here's the thing. They kind of look alike, but they're the same size. Right? Like Aaron Judge, about
Yes.
6'8".
Yes.
Aaron Gordon, 6'8". I like that.
Yeah, only thing, I saw Aaron Judge a couple weeks ago. He had a dime piece with him at ABC Kitchen. Great night.
Why
It was like
do you keep saying that on television?
Is that an
Well,
insist?
I'm supposed to say if I saw someone. I'm in New York
Yeah,
City.
but
If I
you don't
saw a
have to
celebrity.
say who you saw them with.
Oh, he wasn't by himself, though.
Right. You did. But
So what's the problem?
What's the problem?
Good-looking couple.
Okay. Let's hope they're a couple.
It ain't my fault. That's his problem.
Well, Tate, he's not the best receiver in the league at anything, except for one thing. Running after the catch. So this was a position of need, a spot of need, and a guy who has a skill set that fits exactly what they need. And so
Yes.
I applaud the Eagles, for despite being 4-4, despite really being uninspiring on offense through the first half of the year, saying we are going to do our damnedest to defend our championship.
And, Nick, you mentioned a good point. He's not great at 4 or 5 things. He's great at run after the catch, but his hands, very good. A route runner, very good. Good teammate. Man, brings a lot of good positive energy. He does a lot of things good for this veteran-oriented Philadelphia team. I believe he gives them the type of boost. If you're trying to go into a playoff run, he's the kind of energy guy you want to be able to add. And because he can play 3 or 4 different wide receiver spots, I believe he fits the skill set. Alshon on one side. They like to play 2 tight ends. Dallas Goedert, big tight end from San Diego State. Saw him get his last first touchdown, career
South
touchdown.
Dakota, right?
South Dakota State. What did I say?
San Diego.
Yeah, anyone
Whatever.
from South Dakota wish that they was in San Diego.
Exactly.
Sure,
All
go
right,
with
so
that.
Dallas Goedert trying to make an impact. Their big game last week, getting his first touchdown. So if they want to play 2 receivers outside compared to playing 3 receivers, I believe that's the way they're going to go because Zach Ertz, we know, is a star at the tight end spot.
How important is the quarterback that you're matching receiver up with when you're bringing someone in? Going from a guy like Stafford to Carson Wentz, does that make a difference? Is he going to be better fit for this offense because it's a guy like Wentz throwing him the ball?
Well, because you have a skill set. Matthew Stafford has one of the best arms in the league, and they run the type of offense where they spread the ball around. I believe Carson Wentz, because he's a veteran, and he does have a quick release, they do have a short passing attack. We will see some of those skills transfer. If Golden Tate had gone to the Texans, all right, and they like to play action, they want to throw the ball deep down the field with Will Fuller. It takes more time. Golden Tate could do that, but you wouldn't be taking full advantage of his skill set. So he can go other places and be productive. I believe this is one of the better places. He would have been better in Philadelphia than being in Dallas. Right. Dallas doesn't throw the ball awful quick and everything. So I think Howie Roseman, and I love to hear football guys talk about football stuff. He got it right. So he's not trying to trade for a skill set that a guy doesn't have, so the disappointment won't be there when they see the player.
And for the Eagles, this offense needs a boost. Carson Wentz is playing statistically similar to what he did last year, and they're 21st in points. There's one game all year they've scored more than 24 points. That was against the Giants. One game all year they've had more than 3 touchdowns against the Giants. Like, if they are going to be able to deal with what is a very difficult remaining schedule, 5 divisional games, and their non-divisional games at the Saints, at the Rams, and then home for the Texans, all teams leading their own divisions, they needed a boost offensively if they're going to have a chance at catching Washington.
All right, let's move on. Guess who's no longer a Green Bay Packer? The guessing game doesn't really work on TV. Ty Montgomery. After he returned to kickoff he wasn't supposed to and then fumbled when he definitely wasn't supposed to. Green Bay dealt Montgomery to the Ravens for a 7th-round pick, but hold on, they weren't done. They also sent Pro Bowl safety Clinton Dix to Washington in exchange for a 4th-rounder. The Packers sit at 3-3-1, chasing the 4-3 Chicago Bears. Nick, were you surprised the Packers were such aggressive sellers at the deadline?
I'm not surprised about Ty Montgomery. Ty Montgomery's a replaceable player some guys can't come back from a mistake like that. Like as far as in the locker room. See, you were impassioned about this. When we talked about it on Monday, what happened with Ty Montgomery, Jenna just kind of said casually, you feel badly for him. And you said, I do not feel badly for him. He had a job to do. He cost the other guys on the team an opportunity to win that football game. So that's the football player mentality. So I understand why Ty Montgomery had to go, particularly some of his comments afterwards.
Yeah, he was going to have a hard time in the locker room after the coach said, I told him to stay in the end zone or I gave him the appropriate instructions. And he came in after and said, they didn't give me any additional instructions. They told me exactly the same thing they've been telling me all year. It's going to be hard for him to make a living in that locker room after those comments.
And we know what the league thinks of Ty Montgomery because the best compensation they get for him is 2 years from now, a 7th-round pick. So that's basically the smallest compensation you can get for a player. The Clinton Dix thing is perplexing to me. The Packers are the best player in football. He's in year 14. He turns 35 30 days from now. And you're getting rid of one of your best defensive players. You're getting rid of a guy that Pro Football Focus says has been a top 3 safety in the NFL this season. You're getting rid of a guy coming off when your team is coming off of what I think is your most encouraging game of the year, even though you lost. You went toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl favorites right now in their building, and we're in position to win the game, if not for Ty Montgomery's mistake. Why are you making your team worse for this year? Just because you're not going to re-sign him this offseason? You still have Aaron Rodgers. You still are a Super Bowl contender. Why are you sellers? It's one thing to not be buyers, but it's something entirely different to sell away, trade away for a future 4th, a player that's helping you right now.
One thing I'm not going to do to the Green Bay Packers, I don't believe it's fair. And because the last regime, Ted Thompson, and how they did business, didn't participate in free agency, we criticized them a lot, not taking advantage of Aaron Rodgers' career. But they've changed some coaches. They've changed the general manager. I can't be critical and put him under the same timeline or the same critique I had under the last regime. I need to be able to give them time. So they didn't get better yesterday, but I need to be able to see what the plan is going to the future. Obviously, they weren't going to sign Dixon to a contract extension after this year. So I'm going to give them some time. I don't like the move. I don't think it helps them long term, and it definitely does not help Aaron Rodgers and the team this year as far as them getting into the playoffs and potentially getting Aaron Rodgers his 2nd championship.
Well, if it doesn't help them short term and doesn't help them long term, how does it help them?
Well, I mean, I
just can't see it. And I'm just not going to go on the record as saying I believe this is a bad move. I believe that general manager deserves the time and the patience to be able to get the type of players in there. The last general manager drafted Dixon. So, so I'm not responsible for him.
Here's what I know. I know the Houston Texans have 3 losses. They added someone. The Philadelphia Eagles have 4 losses. They added someone. The Green Bay Packers with 3 losses in a mediocre division. It's competitive, but up at the top is a team quarterbacked by Mitch Trubisky, so that means it's winnable. They sold. And they have the best player in football, and they have, in the next 4 weeks, at New England, at the Vikings, at the Seahawks. They made Aaron Rodgers' job, who's already very hard, even harder. That's disappointing to me as a football fan.
Jenna, before we tried to put this show together, I know we went through a lot of things. They tried to put Nick and I together, looking at each other, and I was like, no, we need to add something at the trade deadline. No, we can't.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Jenna, thank God you're here.